Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup officials taking on Kansas Speedway, located in Kansas City, Kansas, on the better side of the Mississippi River, allegedly, or on the other side of whatever river it is. Well, okay, so, whatever. It's Kansas City, Kansas, people. It's all you need to know. My name's Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. We are starting off the show with a bang here, Bizzle. Silver Crowns at Kansas is really going to be just an absolutely fantastic show. It is going to be draft racy, packy, and just absolutely full throttle the entire time.
Yeah, this track is absolutely awesome in any kind of car you throw it in. Stock cars are fantastic here, open wheelers are fantastic here, and Silver Crowns are kind of in between both of them.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, as qualifications are just getting out onto the racetrack. This is sort of the natural habitat for the Silver Crown car, as we will pick up Derek Love, who is out on the Speedway. These things were sort of designed to run these big monster ovals.
Yeah, these cars are basically way overpowered. They're like an Indy car if an Indy car never grew wings.
Yeah, sort of. I think there may have been a little bit more technological innovation, but I'm not sure that it would have been that much either. Sign-on checking in saying Kansas Speedway is within 30 minutes of Kansas City, Missouri, making it one of the easiest tracks on the NASCAR calendar to get to. That is very true. The races here always do really well as Derek Love moves to the top of the board. Brandon Buckberger, new sponsor on the car this week for Brandon. He is going to be now in position number 2 as we will pick up James Watson, who was working his way off of turn 2 on lap number 2. Thus far, only Ben Carswell has not taken time. Go ahead, buddy.
I would say Dover is another real easy track to get to.
If you don't mind the traffic.
Going into Delaware.
Well, and the fact that you have to be in Delaware to go to Dover. Dover is not bad. Richmond is really not terrible. That's kind of right in the city as well. Good lap for Watson, moving him up to 6th quick. We'll pick up Josh Batista now in the Ream number 20.
But Daytona is real easy to get to as well. It's right off I-95.
Okay, see, now Sign-On is agreeing with you here. They're what Indy cars would be, or close to it, if they never went rear engine.
Yeah, if IndyCar was stuck in the 50s, had to use all the same stuff they were doing in the 1950s, and they just evolved using that same rule set, I'm pretty sure this is exactly what we'd end up with.
Something similar. I don't think you can put the aerodynamics genie back in the bottle. We would have figured it out. I mean, we landed on the moon, for God's sake. But it almost feels like rear engines were an inevitability as Josh Batista finishes up his qualification run. It looks like only going to be 13th quick here for Mr. Batista. And now we're down to our final car to get out on the speedway, and that's going to be Ben Carswell in the Team Watson Racing setups, number 48. I think it's an interesting kind of thought exercise to say what would have been if Indy cars...
These are mid-engine vehicles. The entirety of the engine is behind the front axle.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that's the definition of front engine. Front engine is the engines in front of the driver.
No, front engine means part or all of the engine is in front of the front axle. Mid is between the axles, and rear is like a Porsche where it's behind the rear axle. There's front mid and rear mid, but they would have definitely evolved to a format like this, moving the engine completely behind the front axles. Every pound of weight, I believe it's every pound you have an inch past the axles, affects the car balance times 10. So they want to get all of the weight they possibly could in between those two axles.
Correct. And so if that's the case, then you would also say that every formula car is a mid-engine car.
Absolutely.
I think it was more front engine versus rear. Where is the big hunk of metal, in front of the driver or behind the driver? It's an interesting discussion that maybe we'll get to continue this during the show here tonight, but qualifications are over and it is time to get ready to go racing here at Kansas Speedway. We're just getting all the graphics set up and stuff so we don't look like idiots this week.
Also, the in Kansas City, the divider between the Missouri side and the Kansas side is the Missouri River.
Is the Missouri River. The Mississippi River's on the other side of the state of Missouri, because that's Illinois and Missouri border on the Mississippi. But anyway, let's get through the starting grid here. Because quite frankly, I'm going to sound like an idiot more. Starting on the pole for tonight's race with a lap time of 30.346 seconds, it will be the Team Watson Racing Setups Martin Sports number 2 of Thomas Lewandowski. To his outside, the Street Side Classics number 1 belonging to Derek Love, only 9/1000ths of a second back in the qualification session. Row number 2 tonight will have Brian Elmore in the number 7, lining up alongside of the Decent Farms number 3 of Brandon Buckberger, new sponsor on the car for Brandon this week. Thank you very much to Decent Farms for coming on board and, frankly, throwing some love behind the silver crowds like that. Vic Aldrich lining up inside of row number 3 in the Dizzy V Designs Team Watson Racing Setups number 98. It will be the 16 on your timing and scoring screens this evening. James Watson in the number 39, Team Watson Racing Setups, National Racing Network, number 39. Again, that car will have a different number in timing and scoring. He will be the 5 here this evening. Row number 4 tonight, the Budweiser Little E look on the side of the 15 for Jason Palmer. That is a well-executed Dale Jr. throwback there. I like that one. Zach Evans in the Me-Fine, Team Watson Racing Setups number 10, will line up to his outside. Row number 9 tonight will have Andrew Hayes in the 9 alongside of Brent Elmore in the 13. Row number 6, the Team Watson Racing Setups number 48 of the Commonwealth of Virginia's Ben Carswell, lining up alongside of the Spotify number 12 belonging to Joe Gauthier. Todd Taylor in the 14 alongside of the Red Rocket Ream Machine belonging to Josh Batista. A lot of Mopar muscle under the hood. He's going to have some work to do to come from the back, as will Jeffrey Stanton in the Napa Auto Parts Rockwell, North Carolina number 4 alongside of Matthias Swank in the number 8. Field grid is done. Field's down. We are ready to go racing. Green flags in the air, and it is a great start for Thomas Lewandowski. He will easily lead the field off to turn 1.
Already up to a half-second gap, kind of getting away from this draft train, but they're going to catch him like a sitting duck.
Yeah, they're going to catch him very, very quickly. And quite frankly, with how this place runs in the draft, it's almost like all they're going to have to do is just split them, and somebody is going to take the lead. If we get a caution, we will bring this one up and get a nice look here. Sign on saying, can we talk about how nice Jason Palmer's helmet looks? Yeah, that would look cool. He says the field looks like it was sleeping on the start. I don't know if it was sleeping as much as it was. There's just not a lot of incentive to kind of haul the mail early in this one. You're going to get caught up. And everybody was able to get single file. And we really didn't have anything done.
Yeah, these guys aren't fighting at all. They're just kind of sitting single file, happy as can be.
Brent Elmore coming around Jason Palmer for position number 8. Let's take a look here. Take a look at the focus camera on Palmer's car. That is a fantastic look on that helmet. We got the good look at it there while we were under green flag racing, which was pretty impressive. Elmore now runs the fastest lap of the race at a 33:25. One of the things we heard from a lot of the drivers early on, Bizzle, is passing was going to be at a premium tonight. I don't know that you're necessarily going to have to move somebody up the racetrack, but I think the bumpers might be in play later on in this one too.
Yeah, as well as you can go underneath that white line down the front stretch. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets a good run, kind of dives underneath someone. The guy on the top side doesn't have to let him up, but you can definitely force your way back up there.
Zach Evans coming around, Andrew Hayes a little bit further back. That's going to be for position number 9. All 16 cars are within 2 seconds of the race leader, but let's pick up. Well, where'd he go here? There he is. Andrew Hayes and Zach Evans. We're going to continue to run side by side, and I think Brian Elmore is thinking about having a look up the inside of Derek Love here towards the front of the field. It just seems like you can't get the run. Somebody, I'm not sure who it was, saying in the pre-race that almost like the straightaways weren't long enough to develop the big run that you would need. On the converse of that, Andrew Hayes now doesn't have anywhere to build the momentum up, and he is just going to be stuck on the outside of the racetrack.
Yeah, and these guys aren't passing him with enough speed to get behind Stanton there in the 94. He's kind of having to jam the brakes and come down low, but
yeah, you're giving up
now.
Everything. We could see somebody, a Thomas Lewandowski, a Derek Love, get freight trained from first to 10 just by getting a little bit loose and having to chase the car up the speedway. Right here you see Zach Evans shuffles up the racetrack. He's already lost 2 positions by the time they get into turn 1, and he is going to go all the way to the back of the line by the time they get to turn number 3. Interesting to see some of these drivers already heading towards the apron. My gut tells me maybe it's a little bit early to be trying some of that stuff.
I don't think so. At track position being such a premium, if you see a door open, you're going to have to shove yourself right into it.
Well, let's see. Brandon Buckberger trying to make the outside lane work, and he's getting a little bit of help from James Watson in terms of the drafting help from behind on the 7 of Brent Elmore as we are already working lap number 10. Board here with Brandon Buckberger. There he is. I mean, you see Elmore able to hold that line down on the inside. He's not making any ground whatsoever on Derek Love, and D-Love even popping out, getting himself a little bit of air. There's just nothing there.
Yeah, you can't build momentum up on the tight side.
Watson giving Buckberger the shove all the way down the back straightaway that time. Interesting that Watson doesn't try the shove down the front straightaway. For the race lead starting to heat up ever so slightly here as well. As Buckberger inside of Elmore, he may be able to get that pass completed. D-Love slides a little bit up to the outside. Watson all the way down onto the apron. He may make it 3 wide by the time they get to turn 1. Buckberger is on the charge, and we do have a bit of a wager going here. If Buckberger gets a win, he will donate $50 to Driven to Save Lives before the end of season 4 here. He gets a win, $50 to Driven to Save Lives. If he does not win, I will be donating $50 to a charity of his choice. And quite frankly, it sort of feels like, I mean, a win, it almost has to get there. Buckberger is sitting 120 points back of Derek Love entering tonight's race. He has 4 wins on the season, but none of them are in the broadcast SOF race. In 13 starts, 11 top 5s, only 23 incident points. You get to a point where you say, look, just a win is going, even if it just falls into your lap through some weird circumstance, you're going to get a win eventually.
Yeah, I mean, and winning in the non-broadcast races is no small feat either. It's most of the same guys running those races. It's just we put the camera on him and he can't get that checkered flag.
Well, we'll see how this one shakes out. An interesting comment here coming from Sinai. Batista and Stanton made up a lot of ground early. Top 6 might be breaking away. The top 6 are definitely not breaking away at this point. Even with Elmore getting to shove up the racetrack here and Watson looking inside, we really have just about everybody nose to tail here. It almost feels like it's going to have to take riding around until you get to lap 40, 45 before we start to see the craziness come out. Because if you're Derek Love, Brandon Buckberger, short of forcing the door open, I don't see any need to play, really kind of dumb with the drafting early on in this one. Just sit in line and make sure you're there at the end.
Yeah, it's almost going to be like those old school Chicagoland IndyCar races, I think, where they're going to sit single file the whole time, and then right when we get towards the end, I think a second line's going to come out.
Yes, those Chicagoland and Kansas IndyCar races would be 2, 3, 4 wide late in the race. But yeah, it was kind of you just had to hang in and be there at the finish. Don't make a mistake. I would imagine, the drivers were talking in the pre-race about the fact that tires were not an issue. Fuel burn off was not going to be an issue. They're going to run these things almost dry in this race here tonight. So it's not even like there's packet full of fuel to try to keep the back end planted a little bit. They are literally as light and as fast as they can make these things. D-Love looking inside of Lewandowski. Oh, there's contact! Both of them are going to slide down to the infield.
And there's Buckberger in the lead. I know we're only halfway, but that might have been the circumstance he needed.
Not only did we stay green, but they didn't wreck. Oh, my goodness. Check this one out on the NRN replay. Big contact between Lewandowski and Love. How did Lewandowski not come up the racetrack and wad up half the field there? My goodness. Let's take a look at it again here from the perspective of Derek Love. Love looking down onto the apron down the front straightaway. I don't know that contact ever got made. Yeah, that was exactly it.
There was definitely contact. Derek Love got to the left rear of Lewandowski.
Man alive, Lewandowski was still saving that car off of turn number 2. But now as we go back to the live look, those guys are shotgun on the field. Lewandowski and Love are 3 seconds back of the race leaders, and now we're starting to get crazy up in the main pack. And that's exactly what those two at the back want to see. The more these guys are doubled up and running side by side, the bigger the hole in the air is, and the faster you're going to get caught up. Sidon might have commented tonight here. Toto, I don't think we're in first. I see what you did there. That's actually a good joke on multiple levels. That's also a Toto Wolff joke, if we really want to play that one. This one I have not heard. Ever hear that infamous spotter called inside, oh shit, from the 01 Richmond IRL race? Yeah, that was sort of it. Inside. Oh, he's still in there.
That's an oopsie.
Tell you what, Jeffrey Stanton starting to make that high side work a little bit, coming around the 98 of Vic Aldrich. Now, we've talked about this a good bit in the past here, Bizzle. Oh, it was Carswell gets a little bit of a punt. He's hard into the outside wall. Again, we're going to stay green. Nope, caution flag is out. Yellow. Put it out. First time tonight. Take a look at this one. All the NRN replay. Carswell trying to look outside of Vic Aldrich in the 98. Man, that's another one that looked a little bit like netcode. Big hit there. Oh, that Joe Gauthier is going to go around as well. Carswell slides to a stop on the front straightaway, and that is not how he wanted his night to end. And right as we get there, right as Jeffrey Stanton was starting to make the outside lane work, we're going to go back to a single file restart here at lap number 29 of 53, just past the halfway point. I would have to say not totally unsurprised in what we've seen here thus far tonight, Bizzle. A lot of staying in line, maybe a little bit surprised with the contact between Love and Lewandowski. But they're already back up to 12th and 13th and may get a crack here at the leaders if they can execute this restart right.
Yeah, they're going to have to go for the Johnny Avila restart and just kind of jump it.
Well, yeah, the difference is we're not using the restart zones. Avila is able to take advantage of the restart zone rules. This is one where if there's any sort of a gap on the outside of the racetrack, they can pass as soon as the leader starts to go. Got you a good look there at the Dienst Farm, number 3 of Brandon Buckberger. I'm pretty sure those guys are watching tonight here on the YouTube feed. So thank you very much for coming on board. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And quite frankly, everybody that's tuned into the YouTube feed here tonight, we appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that stuff. We have channel memberships if you want to throw a little bit of support behind the channel. And if you are on the iRacing forums, I will plug the post, but that's it. There is a forum post on the Silver Crown side asking for some monetary assistance for the broadcast for next season. If you are so inclined, you can go take a look at that one. Now the lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. You see everybody starting to pack up towards that safer barrier on the outside. And Bizzle, this is where it gets tough for Love and Lewandowski because everybody knows the rules. They're not getting off that wall until they absolutely have to.
Nope. Not unless you're one of these top 3-4 cars jumping down to the bottom side immediately. Watson almost giving the push to Buckberger.
Yeah, that was a great start for Watson. We've had the discussion of, is he aggressive enough in these official races? It's almost like he drives a little bit differently in the league races. When we see him in TNT Shock, a little bit more aggressive. In the officials, he keeps the I rating in the back of his head. He's not necessarily going to dump somebody and take the potential, safety rating and I rating penalty that can come from that, just to get himself up into a race win or a podium position. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I want to get your thoughts on it. Is he aggressive enough to win this race tonight?
I definitely think he can be. Once he starts tasting victory a little bit, he starts seeing red and do anything to go and get it. Peeks the inside of Buckberger. Buckberger goes below the white line.
Yeah, he's going to be throwing the block on that line all night long now. Sign-On says, the old green to the front is green to the field rule. I wish that was still the gold standard. I do too. I think green flag's out, you should go like hell. None of this having to hold your lane stuff. No. If you act like a dumbass on the racetrack, the other drivers are going to let you know that you're being a dumbass. What's interesting here is the top four are really starting to break away as we are down to 20 laps to go. There's the second pack headed by Josh Batista. That's going to be 5th place back through 13th place, Derek Love. Something that I think we're going to see come into play again here, and maybe it was a part of the incident that we saw earlier, Bizzle, where James Watson is down on the apron right there. It is not an easy transition back up onto the banking. It's not like Daytona or Talladega where you can get to the apron and then get back to the banking semi-easily. This is a pretty hard transition back onto the banked front straightaway.
No, you said it. The whole front straightaway is very, very banked. It's maybe 10, 15 degrees there. So it's pretty steep grade to try and set the car over.
So Jeffrey Stanton and Brian Elmore are trying to make the outside lane work. They're hooked up, but this is the case of the long way around may not be any faster here. The other one that I think is interesting to see is the side draft doesn't seem like it's as applicable in these cars as we see it in the Cup cars that we watch on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, there's those little tiny spoilers over the rear wheels, but you're not really going to be pushing much air onto those things.
So it'll be 15 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. Ben Carswell, the only car out of the race at this point. Everybody else is on the lead lap and within 3 seconds of the leader. Still side by side at the front. I'll tell you what, this second pack is really good. Now look at who's at the head of the line. Thomas Lewandowski back up to the 5th position. Oh, they're 3 wide off the corner. Starting to get handsy here back in the second pack. On board here with Brent Elmore. Oh, wow. The car is way twitchy as he's got the 15 looking just inside. We'll get that pass completed. Now they're starting to catch the race leaders. Thomas Lewandowski, who we thought may have been out of this thing, is almost up to the back bumpers. Now with 13 to go, I think we're starting to see that aggression start to pick up here, buddy.
Yeah, getting some fortune telling going on. I think we're going to have another caution before this one's over.
Yeah, possibly. Derek Love looking outside of Elmore. That's the battle for the 8th position. Aldrich and Hayes are there. Oh, man, I think Elmore may have even clipped the apron. My goodness, there is so much going on here. Now, where do we see Lewandowski make the move? He got a huge run down the front straightaway. Going to look outside of Brian Elmore in the 7. There's Josh Batista, choose to go with him. Stanton on the high side. And Derek Love going to have a huge run here as well. Jason Palmer in that 15 machine. That's a guy that we don't normally see out here. And I know we talk about the familiarity of these drivers a lot. Sometimes you also kind of have to say, hey, I don't necessarily know this guy, and that can be a good thing for Brandon Buchberger because you don't. Everybody else has to kind of contend with where is this guy going to go next.
Yeah, especially in a series like this where it's always the same guys you're racing. Now you have a new guy up there. You're going to feel your way around him. You're going to be very careful.
AJ Camargo saying Exorcist Cam. We might have to do up some graphics for that. The AJ, give me a sponsor that you want attached to that, and we will name that camera in your honor. Still Buchberger at the head of the line with 8 to go. Stanton and Lewandowski just not able to get the run. Palmer, oh, big crash. Huge wreck in turn 1. Oh, my goodness. I think Batista was caught up in that, as was Andrew Hayes.
This is exactly what Buchberger wanted to see. Another chance to get them all single file again, kind of dial the pressure down a little bit.
Take a look here. This was Palmer in the 15 and Batista in the 20 down to turn 1. Oh, it actually started with Elmore and Hayes, and Batista yard sails it. He almost went out of the ballpark.
Man.
Let's take a look at this one more time. Pick this one up with Andrew Hayes. You're going to keep your eye on this car right here in the middle of your screen. That one right there. I don't know if the contact was with the 7 of Elmore. Oh, just a little bit. Yeah, you could see the car moving right before the contact was even made. But my goodness, that was a big one right there. So now we go back to the live look, and it's going to be a restart with 5 laps to go as the lights are still on the iRacing safety car. Buckberger, Stanton, Watson. So Stanton was ahead at the time of the caution. Seeing James Watson all the way down on the bottom doing the tire cooling off thing. That is a huge temperature gradient at this point in the race, too. A 95-degree track temperature. In the groove, it is significantly warmer than that. So Watson trying to do what he can to cool those tires off a little bit. But now the question becomes, what does Brandon Buckberger have to do to win this race? And the reason I ask the question that way is you're going to have Jeffrey Stanton, who has had a lightning quick car tonight and is your hard charger of the race. He's gained 13 positions from the start of this thing. James Watson is up 3. And oh, by the way, Thomas Lewandowski and Derek Love are going to line up 4th and 5th. There's a lot of guys who want a win and want the championship points that are going to come from this thing. It's almost like he's going to be under attack from all sides.
If he wants to win this race, he's going to need a lot of luck. Hopefully, Love and Lewandowski trying to go through the field takes out Watson and Stanton, and we finish this race under caution. That's exactly what Buckberger is thinking right now.
I don't necessarily think you're wrong in that assertion. AJ Camargo saying this ending is going to be crazy. Might get another yellow. That's another good one. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do we get another yellow flag here tonight? If they take the white, the race is over. If they don't take the white flag, there is one attempt at a green-white checkered overtime finish. And if these guys are as close on fuel as I think they are, some of them may have to stop for fuel.
Oh man, Watson with a very aggressive restart.
I'll tell you what, all 3 of these guys at the front got a really nice jump. Lewandowski and Love, they went from wrecking 25 laps ago. They're now going to have to play nice as we are down to 4 laps to go here at the Kansas Speedway. Lewandowski and Love looking outside of Watson. Watson going to try the Pruitt fade down the straightaway. Forces Lewandowski up to the wall. That's a power move by James Watson. He wants Thomas Lewandowski pushing him. That car has been fast all night.
Those guys are teammates too. It says Team Watson Racing setups on both of their cars.
I kind of like the spot that James Watson is in right now. Lewandowski is going to have to get in behind him. Love slides up the racetrack ever so slightly. This is exactly what Brandon Buckberger wants to see. Stanton maybe backing off just a hair, trying to get the run set up. 2 to go now at Kansas. When do we see Jeffrey Stanton make the move? Derek Love has absolutely nowhere to go. Watson trying to get the draft from Lewandowski, but Lewandowski doesn't want to play nice either. Love slides up the racetrack. White flag is out, 1 to go. They're 3 wide for 3rd.
I'm not sure Stanton can get by Buckberger.
Not sure what happened there. Oh, there's contact off of 4.
Oh, no!
For second, and Derek Love gets the win.
Buckberger coming home in 5th. He is going to be so pissed. No!
Oh, my goodness. Buckberger tumbling down off the catch fencing. Oh, my goodness.
Let's get a replay of that finish. I think we missed it there a little bit.
Well, sort of. Let's take a look here. Pick this one up from Brandon Buckberger's view. This is coming to the white flag. You saw Lewandowski get the big wide swing. Able to hold on to this point. Derek Love. Oh, he slides.
Buckberger goes up
the racetrack to try the block. Oh,
can't block him
goodness.
Oh, man.
Derek Love, Jason Palmer, and Jeffrey Stanton are your podium. Buckberger comes across the line sideways and on fire in 5th. Oh, my goodness. We'll go back to the live look here. Oh, my goodness. Buckberger is going to be hot.
I think he just didn't want to give you $50.
You know what? Oh, my goodness. Let me see. Now, I do not have the ability to hear the in-sim chat in my ear, which is probably a good thing. That was a wild show. Seeing the comment here from Sinon, I'm going to say yes, but not in the way you think. Yeah, that looked intentional on Buckberger's part. I don't disagree. He went for the block to save the race win. The problem was the block was a split second too late. Let's see. We've got him here in the booth. Let's bring in Brandon Buckberger. Finished 5th tonight, led a race-high 32 laps. Brandon, talk us through what happened off of turn 4 there. We saw some net code from places earlier tonight. Was it that? Was it a block? What was going on there?
Just hit the apron.
Oh. I am absolutely gutted for you. That race played out about as well as you could have expected it to. Obviously, with the issue that Derek and Thomas had, they sort of took themselves out of contention. At least we thought they did. But man alive, that car was an absolute rocket ship tonight at the front, and you did a nice job of keeping everybody behind you there until that last corner, too.
Yeah, car wasn't that good out front. It was a drafter, but I cost myself that one. It hurts. I don't even know what to say, man. It's just another one of those, nothing goes my way, I guess.
Man, I'll tell you, like I said, I'm actually gutted for you on that one. I appreciate you making yourself available to come up here into the booth and chat with us. Very nice work on the new livery for this week, and we'll get to work on getting some badass logos up there and making that car look real pretty for next week. Thank you very much, Brandon Buckberger. Let's talk to our race winner tonight, Mr. Derek Love. Derek, did you see that coming with 1 lap to go, that it was going to just turn into an absolute mess? Because you flat out nailed the finish of that one. Congratulations.
Man, you hate to win that way. And no, after lap 2021, I didn't see that at all. Thomas and I got together. My apologies to him. I wanted to carry the momentum and just ended up going down to the apron there. And then I was trying to tuck back in behind him and looking at the replay. Looks like netcode kind of just locked us together there. And Terrible. But man, we had a little bit of fun driving back through the field. I had to be a little aggressive at times, but that's the fault of this package. If you're not going to go forward. And unfortunately, we're not out here to finish in last. So we had to finish in first, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, yeah, and quite frankly, the drive through the field was fun to watch. And then we get to that last restart, and I asked Bizzle, what does Brandon have to do to win this race? And he said, get lucky. Is that kind of what you were thinking, that the pushing and shoving was going to start and somebody other than the race leader on that final restart would be your winner?
No, not really. I assumed we were going to be clean. I just knew, though, the outside's where you wanted to be. So I had to be a little aggressive on James. I apologize to him. I needed that. I didn't want to be on the bottom. I wasn't going to carry any momentum. So I had to be in that second groove. And that was my plan. Just is if I could get to that second groove and get someone behind me and just do what I could from the outside, wherever I finished there. Definitely did not anticipate them guys getting together. My biggest worry, somehow, the gear difference. Some people are on the 327, myself included. I think Thomas had to have been on the 336 because on those restarts and the race start, he just drove away from me. So when that caution came out, I was actually very worried that if I didn't get a good start, then it was going to take. It took my car 2 or 3 laps just to build up the momentum. And I don't know what the deal was there with that, but that was my biggest worry, honestly.
Well, I tell you what, you got done what you had to. Congratulations on picking up the win here tonight. And, man, before we let you go, big championship implications in this one. Go full Rick Allen on it. Big SOF, big points night tonight. You got to be looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll take the win, but definitely don't want to win that way. I definitely don't want to win in a way I'm apologizing to some people, just running them a little rough. But, I think looking at the points, that's going to be pretty tough for someone to overcome that. Brandon really missed out tonight. I hate to see that for him. Really hoping he can get one. I wasn't going to, if it came down to him and I wasn't going to be too super aggressive. I want to see him get his win there. But I guess we'll have to see it next week.
All right, buddy. Well,
we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good, brother. Congratulations on the win tonight. And before we let you go, do all the sponsor plugs and shout outs you want to get in here too.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Hopefully put on a good show. The Street Side Classic machine sure did. And we'll be back up in Victory Lane again soon. Count on it.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And now we got to talk to the other party that was involved in that last corner incident. And that will be Mr. Jeffrey Stanton, really coming to the checkered incident. Jeffrey, it kind of looked like to us up here in the booth that it was a kind of an incident of throwing the block just a tick too late. Brandon said he clipped the apron. Hate it for him, but man, I'll tell you what, that Napa Auto Parts machine was really, really quick tonight.
I'm still surprised about the last corner. Like, I know Brandon was going to probably stay on the inside. My idea is I went to the outside there on the back straight going into 3 because I know Derek was being really aggressive on the bottom there. So I figured I'd get on the outside because my car was better on the outside tonight anyway. I did not like that bottom. I was getting tight down there. I threw the weight jacker all the way in the trunk and got it real loose, and it came alive like a rocket ship after that. But I knew I was better on that second groove, so that's why I went up there, and then it just surprised me when all that happened. Like I figured we were going to be photo finish the line.
Yeah, it was a great show that you guys put on tonight. Was there a difference in setup wise of what you think? Derek was talking a little bit about running a little bit different gear from everybody else. What was your secret? Because you were able to make that outside lane work solo and with 2 cars more than anybody else was tonight.
I think it's that gear. I ran the 36 gear tonight, a little bit higher geared than what most of the folks were running on. I think they were all running a 27, so I stayed with that higher gear, and it really helped.
Well, man, alive. A great show you guys put on for us tonight. Thank you much. We appreciate it, brother. And before we let you go, make sure you get in all the sponsor plugs and shout outs here for us too.
Yep. I want to thank Napa Auto Parts of Rockwell, North Carolina, everyone else that supports me, and y'all for broadcasting.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And Man alive, Bizzle. We got a show, man. That was absolutely wild coming to the finish.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. Unfortunately, not the photo finish that they were expecting, but still, I mean, Derek Love came from nowhere to win that one, stole it right at the end.
Yeah, the stat line says gained 1 position, started second, finished first, led 1 lap. The reality was he earned every bit of that, having to drive through the field. And I mean, it was a lot of work to put that car in victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely fought for it, was fantastic on all the restarts, and just kept himself just close enough to be in the fight.
Yes, it was. Well, it was a great show tonight, and I think we're going to get some more of that this week, too. Tomorrow night, the TNT Shock Series is going to visit Phoenix, the old legacy version of Phoenix Raceway. That one will kick off 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You do not want to miss that show. It is one of the best they put on all year long. Wednesday night, the Sim Racers Club SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series, running their Mint Mortgage fall season, will head to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for round number 9 of 12. That race will air at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the Indy Pro 2000 Championship at 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night. That race will be round number 10 of 12, and it will be on the streets of Belle Isle. I'm looking forward to that one. They usually put on a pretty decent show there for how tight and twisty that place is. Really 4 good venues for the iRacing cars on the NRN airwaves this week. We all want to thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and look forward to talking to you all tomorrow night. But for Bizzle and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.